So basic idea here is we have this medicine ball here that we're going to be using almost like an Atlas stone. It looks about like a 17, 18 inch diameter, which is typical of an Atlas stone. Now this is only 60 pounds. If this was concrete, you're probably looking at about a 240, 260 pound stone, but all the principles are going to be the same. All right.
What do you think is just the benefit of the stone training? Like, what do you enjoy about it? What do you like about it?
Well, number one, if you can pick up like a 300 pound stone, you can pick up a 300 pound anything, right? Because it doesn't have handles.
Yeah, it's odd.
For if you're into like grappling or any type of martial arts, a lot of your training has to do with like squeeze and crush, right? Same thing here, even in like football or rugby, American football, where you need to be wrapping people up and doing different things. That squeeze is massive, right? Like you're gonna tackle someone, they're trying to get away. That squeeze is massive, and this builds that, which is different than like a fly. It's different than anything else. It's just a different movement, right? Also, when you go to pick anything up in the world, like if you were gonna pick up a tree stump or a dead grandma or whatever you're gonna pick up, right? This is the type of position it would be in. It wouldn't be on a barbell with like handles or anything. So it's always this stupid, like, how do I, what is gonna, right? Like that's when you gotta pick up something heavy, like a box of books to move, right? So I love the fact that it truly is functional. You know, it can relate to other things in the world. And like I said, if you can pick up this, you can pick up a box of books because this doesn't have handles or edges. The way that I go about this is I think about this just like a globe, and I think about a hemisphere all the way around, like an equator, right? I line up the equator with the middle of my foot, so that's the center of my body. Most of the time when you look at something, you want to pick it up when it's out in front of you like this, but that's going to be extremely heavy. That's like me picking you up out here, right? I want it as close to my body as possible, so I get on top of it. Now, when the stone gets bigger in diameter, that changes a little bit, but for right now, we're sticking with that. Middle of the equator lines up in the middle of my foot. I take my middle fingers and I either line it up there and I try to dig way underneath. Some people find it easier to stick their hands almost like Vulcan Spock hands, and they dig it underneath. They find they can get a little bit deeper. Some people actually take this thing and roll it on top of their fingers, which isn't too bad with this, but if this concrete stone, that works, but it sucks. Anyway, you're gonna dig your hands under as far as you can, almost like you're doing a big deficit deadlift here. Big belly breath, just like a normal deadlift, you're gonna push the ground away. You're not gonna pick it up. You push the ground away. As you extend and it clears your knees, you bring your legs in. Once you bring your legs in, you get in this position. This is called the lap position, just because it's in your lap, right? Now, you could sit here because you have biomechanical structure underneath this thing. You could sit here forever with a heavy weight, right? It's not gonna take anything away from you. But what you're doing here is adjusting where this thing's gonna go. Because maybe you didn't get the best grab on it, now's the time to get to where you wanna be. Also, you can adjust where this thing is gonna be on your chest. Because if it's low on your chest here and you go to pick it up and it's heavy, it's gonna slip, right? So you want this stone up kind of like where like your Iron Man symbol would be, or like where your Superman S would be, okay? So in order to do that, what you can do is take the stone and roll it out further on your knees so you can bring your body towards it. Again, you're moving your body around the object, not the object around your body. So if you're stuck here and you can't get your chin to it in a good position, you just roll it out, now you can. From there, you drape your hands over top. It seems logical that you would want to stick your hands underneath this thing to pick it up, right? However, you run out of real estate because your face gets in the way. When you go to move, your face is in the way, right? You can't roll anywhere. Even if you're around the sides at like 90 degrees, when you go, you might clear something small where your face gets in the way.
Big potential to hurt your bicep.
Huge potential to tear your bicep. That's dicey. So from here, what you do is you throw your arms over top. Now, a lot of people are gonna say you do not have any strength there. Completely the opposite, you have a ton of crush strength here. Suck this to your body and row. From here, you're gonna raise your hips up just like you're doing a big kettlebell swing, big belly breath again, and then swing your hips and raise and extend. You're literally gonna roll this thing all the way up to your face. Now, where we line up here is gonna be important because you don't wanna walk with this thing if you don't need to, right? So for competition, we always need to start with our hands like this because there's sticky stuff on them. We go like this, they stick powder ready, go, and you drop down. Now, if you see what I did here, you have to move your head out of the way because the bar's in the way, right? And sometimes it's a platform and there'll be a wall here. But for here, what you do is you move your head to the side, everything stays normal here, and you pick. Once you're here, people always move their head out of the way. But once you're in the position, big belly breath, the idea is that when you raise up, you should just be able to lean forward and it will fall over, right? Hopefully you don't need to move a lot because that's extra movement, right? So why don't we give that a try, Mark?
The one question I had,
Yeah.
or actually two things. So when you drop down to pick it up,
Yes.
it looked like you maybe intentionally like moved your hips towards the ball. Or are you just trying to squat down lower? Like it looks like you're trying to like almost get underneath it.
I feel like I'm honestly just doing what I can do to get down there. Like, so let me think of what I do.
Because I kind of saw like when you grabbed it, and then it looked like your hips kind of went down and in towards the ball.
Yes, absolutely. So I almost scoop to lift. And that's pretty typical with something like a front squat. Like you'll get a little bit more hip scoop.
Right.
I do get my air here, but when I drop down,
You guys see what I mean with the lower back?
Yep. So I'm deep here.
No, I'm gonna probably be like, it's gonna be hard for me to do that, but
Right.
I think it's just important to note that you're trying to get super low.
Yes.
You know, on a deadlift, you're not gonna really squat down to do a deadlift. You're gonna lose leverage, but in this case, you need it. The other thing that I saw is once you reversed out of there and once you picked it up a little bit differently than when we pick up a deadlift.
Yes.
And it looked like you kind of intentionally straightened your legs out.
It's almost like an RDL.
Are you trying to intentionally round the lower back too, or?
Yes, and this thing almost acts like a. Very, very few people hurt their back on stones.
It's way different than a deadlift. I mean, even
Yes,
a 200-pound stone may feel pretty heavy to somebody, but it's certainly not a 400-pound deadlift.
No, but a 400-pound deadlift,
It's going to feel easier if you do it correctly.
a 200-pound stone is going to be iffy.
Yeah, right.
That's right there.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
Yes, and like you said, it's not a deadlift,
Yeah.
right? And I always tell people try to push the floor away, like on a deadlift. It's a completely different thing. So your legs do straighten out, and the main reason why is because you don't have anywhere to go, right? So it's not like I'm gonna hit myself in the jump,
Yep.
right? So your legs straighten out to clear your knees, and then they step in. Now it is important that you want to step your legs rather than pinch your legs,
I see.
right? Because if this thing's 400 pounds,
Yeah.
that's dicey. You know what I'm saying?
You guys see that too? Like his back was rounded.
Yeah, it's
but-
rounded. There's
but
no doubt.
But only for a split second. So like on a deadlift, I think the issue with a deadlift is once you get rounded, you'll probably continue to round over further and
Yes.
further and further, and you're going through a range of motion with a weight that's starting to kick out in front of you.
Yep, and that curve of your spine's getting more and more extreme,
Yeah.
right? The reason why no one hurts their back on stones is because if you're hugging this thing to yourself, it's almost like a natural belt, right? Like your spine, like we were just talking about, if it can only round to here, but it is supported against a big thing. It's like being against a wall, like there's no place for that spine to go.
Right.
So it can't like herniate anywhere.
Got it.
If there was spacing, you could. So if you're here, literally, I could be as round as I want, but I'm supported here. My spine can't waver. You know what I'm saying?
Makes sense.
Let's do this. Sorry, I'm getting that thing all sweaty.
Oh, that's right.
I'm a sweater.
Level 5.
Level 5.
So here.
You can dig way underneath, big belly breath, and then push the world away. And step your knees in. Step. Yep. That's whole game.
That's about right.
Now,
Switch it forward a little bit.
yep, as it gets heavier, you'll need your legs a little bit closer, so you'll need them just outside of the stone. Yep, and then just remember that you gotta move your head on the way up. You're good. Push the ground. Oops. Keep your arms straight. Roll it in. Yep, sometimes you roll it in.
It's harder with my feet a little closer.
Yep. You can spread them out a little bit. Yep. And then big air. Yep. So the biggest thing, a lot of people will try to bend their arms on the stone, and that's always a mistake.
Yeah, I was
okay.
trying to pull it. Yeah.
Plus, a stone's gonna be slippery, so almost like a farmer's walk, whenever you're losing grip on something, you'll have a tendency to bend your arms, right? And with stone, you'll see people go like this, and that's bad, right? So you want to keep your hands like this, and they're just meat hooks, they're just staying there, so when you press, you push the floor, comes up, and then you just move your legs in, all right?
It's so easy.
I've done it a couple times. It's like riding a bike, everything's hard at first. You can keep your feet a little bit wider.
Yeah, I'll try to go another way. That's kind of the hardest part, is when you get my hands underneath.
Yep. Getting down that's better though.
Head.
You're clear. Yep. And in reality, that's where you want to be, is that
I
close.
feel really good on my back, actually.
Because as you extend, like you can be right up on this thing. So I will literally be this close.
You don't want to move around too much.
And it'll look like, from the side, it looks like I'm gonna rock it right up into this thing, right? Except when I actually do it explosively and use my hips, it clears, and then it lands on the other side, right?
Makes sense.
It's a real close line though. We've had people with a concrete stone
bonk.
explode their finger.
Knock right into it.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's how we're doing the Atlas stone right there.
Absolutely.
Strength is never a weakness. Weakness is never a strength. Catch you guys later. Both cameras.